Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pastor Speak podcast. Back by popular demand, Kevin Pregel.
Yes, it is about time.
And another episode of Hot Takes.
This is so well requested by people. They crave our hot takes.
There are people who do like it.
People approach us in the real world. People approach my wife about our hot
Walmart,
takes. At church.
bread aisle.
Little kids aisle area. The aisle. Little kids area.
What do they say?
That I was Grinchy.
Well, that's true. But did they say anything about me?
They said that you're fantastic.
Oh.
That you carry the episodes.
To your wife?
To my wife, Steve Redfern approached Candace on a Sunday morning saying that I was really Grinchy about Christmas, which I guess I
Completely
came
true, man. That's the thing. We almost lost our contract with the holiday episode.
Yeah, that's my
people
fault.
got upset, and that's why it's been almost 5 months since Aaron let us come back. 4 months.
We were on probation. But we're back.
Probation.
Because
We're
people have been asking us for a hot takes.
It's like that one guy on the radio who got banned and came back. What's his name? Chris Rock.
No.
So,
what's his name?
Today we
Howard
have
Stern.
No, I don't know this. Today we have a hot take episode on one of our favorite topics.
It's a topic that a lot of people are passionate about.
We love it.
This is gonna generate
A lot of heat.
conversation.
It's sports. And if you don't like sports, it's going to be a very niche episode.
Sports are
Is it niche or niche?
niche, actually. Sports are it's one of the
niche.
easiest things in the world to generate hot takes about. Everyone has a hot take.
And 'cause it doesn't
about
matter
sports,
at all.
But you and I have really strong opinions about certain things.
Of
And
course.
we came up with stuff that we feel like
Few hot takes, and we should always remind people a hot take is intended to be
rage-inducing.
rage-inducing, frustrating, offensive.
It's supposed to make you come up to us and say, "You're really wrong," and I can't believe that you think that.
And I can't believe you work here.
I can't believe we need to fire you because of these views. So we have 3 hot takes each.
Yeah, a few.
You have 2.
A few.
You have a few. How many is a few?
7.
7? Oh
No,
my
I
gosh,
don't.
we
I've got
have
some, but I'll kind of pick and choose,
All right.
and I may even come up with some on the fly.
Okay. So we can air out our hot takes and then talk about it.
We're gonna have to talk them all out.
Because there's
but
one that we really need to talk about.
There's one.
There's one in particular.
That's a personal feud.
That's the whole point of this podcast.
Do we need to air out our personal
yes
issues
but it
in
needs to
front of
wait till the end,
people?
so we can generate discussion.
Because this goes out.
Because you and I we've texted back and forth about this, and when you told me what you think about this one particular topic, I couldn't believe that you were being serious.
Well, you were texting a lot. I was out having fun with my friends.
Were you? I don't have friends, so I don't know what that's like. But I do have hot takes. Do you want to start?
No, you start. I want to hear the first one you got because
All right. So this
always get it started.
This is a spicy one that's going to upset the whole church. And we're
That's a great way to start.
We're gonna come out really hot here.
whole church is going to be mad.
The whole church. Derek in particular is gonna. I might actually get.
Not worried about that. More just the church.
Okay, you ready?
All right, go for it.
Patrick Mahomes.
No, see, stop right there. You're gonna get us in a lot of trouble here.
I gotta say it, man, because I've been watching Chiefs football for a long time.
How long?
At least 10 years. And so I've been here for the whole Mahomes era. All right.
So you have privilege right to
I can speak on this.
Okay.
As someone who witnessed the Saban dynasty, I know a little thing about good football. I know
We
a little
know.
bit. More importantly,
the way football should be played.
we do know the way football should be played. More importantly, I know a thing about overrated quarterbacks.
Oh boy.
Patrick Mahomes is a bottom 15 quarterback in the NFL. He is being carried by his team. His defense wins in the games. He has a Hall of Fame tight end. He has ample help for the wide receivers. He has not only are you listening to what I'm saying? Not only a Hall of Fame head coach, but probably a Hall of Fame defensive coordinator at his disposal. If you were to take Patrick Mahomes and put him on the Browns, right? We wouldn't even be having this
There's
conversation.
so many things wrong with that.
He is a bottom 15 quarterback.
Here's the thing.
Easy.
People said the exact same thing about Tom Brady. with Belichick.
No one said that about him.
Yeah, they said,
Literally.
he's carried because he was a great coach.
Nope.
You know, he didn't have to play until the few years
That's
in the
not
league.
true.
He had
I
Randy
never said
Moss.
that.
He had Rob Gronkowski. He
That's
had a
true.
great
That's true.
O-line. Then he proved it wrong. He went to Tampa Bay, won a Super Bowl
with
on
his
his own.
Hall of Fame.
So you're telling me
tight end
Mahomes
and his elite head
Mahomes
coach.
got traded to my Titans, which I would give up every first-round pick from now until
Would you really?
2060 for Mahomes.
Listen, I don't have stats to back it
Like,
up.
I would give up no more first-round picks for the Titans in the history of
Oh
football.
my gosh, that is the
they will
most-
never have a
that is
first-round
so
pick again. The Chiefs
foolish
can
of
have
you.
every single one.
When you take a look,
For Mahomes.
he does just barely enough to win. When you take, he doesn't throw the ball very far past the line of scrimmage. He doesn't take deep shots, and you can say, "Oh, well, the offense isn't built or blah blah blah." You know, I don't care. He doesn't pass the eye test.
Are you sure you
Bottom 15
want
quarterback.
this out?
I want this out there
Because
people need to know how I feel. He's a bottom 15 quarterback.
this is big territory.
There
you're
are
pushing on here.
14
this
other
is-
quarterbacks in the NFL that I would rather have on my team than Patrick Mahomes. I don't have a list.
You have a list. Name just a few. Who would be the
I take Josh Allen.
over the
I
guy
take
he
Lamar
literally
Jackson.
can't beat?
Okay, that's a little bit.
Literally
that's a little
can't
bit
beat
different.
these guys.
Josh Allen's an elite quarterback. I take Lamar Jackson.
He can't beat Mahomes either. The thing is, you're missing
I like
the
CJ
clutch
Stroud a lot.
gene. Mahomes is kind of like Kobe Bryant.
No,
Right.
Okay, in what way?
Well, there was always questions about Kobe, you know, some of the stats, and he didn't always have the greatest season. He took
Yep.
a lot of shots. He held the ball too much. But when it came down to it, there was not a player you'd want more with the basketball.
Listen,
He was the most
I
clutch
can't deny-
player, the hardest worker, clutch.
he does a good job in the playoffs. He has that killer instinct.
And
all
Mahomes
that.
can throw the football out of a stadium.
That's like Uncle Rico in Napoleon Dynamite.
That's a good point.
Over the mountains. I think that he's being carried by his team.
By who?
His defense. his Hall of Fame tight end.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that everybody thought the Chiefs had the worst defense in the world. They were
That's
terrible.
true.
They couldn't do anything. And
That's true. And now they
they're
have
great.
a consistently top 10 defense.
You know, and same thing. Andy Reid couldn't win a Super Bowl.
And now he's won 3.
He had Donovan McNabb.
He's a Hall of Fame head coach.
because of Mahomes.
Maybe.
All right,
Do you have a hot take?
I have a hot take, and it's not going to be near as
We
inflammatory
came
as that.
off really hot in that first one.
That was really hot. The most difficult sport to play in the world, most difficult sport to play is golf. And a close second is hockey.
Okay.
Every other sport is easy compared to that.
That might be the silliest thing I've ever heard you say. Listen,
And this is coming from someone who's played every sport
have you?
and excelled.
All right, so I have some
in
news
none
for
of
you.
them.
Let me tell you, Top Golf is not real golf. That doesn't count in your experience playing golf.
I went out to a course once.
Yeah, which one? The putt-putt place down the street.
Well, it had a Captain Hook, like a pirate in the front.
You know, putt-putt is challenging.
No, I've been out to a real course. I've been out there, and
you-
I got a hot dog and a Gatorade.
Okay.
Got a golf cart.
I don't know if hot dogs and Gatorades have bearing on this discussion, but
It's an important
you were
part of
immersed
game.
in the experience.
I tried to go full in the
Yeah, I like that.
experience because I was
I like
with
that.
some guys who played.
Golf is challenging.
I got to drive
Golf is
the
hard.
They let me drive the golf cart. Problem was they didn't tell me you can only drive on certain spots. I drove all
Did
over.
you drive on the green?
I got in trouble.
Oh, that's a big faux pas.
You can't. I didn't know that.
Don't ever drive.
That's the
on
only
the
thing
green.
about golf is they have a bunch of rules. I came out and in
Yep.
like a tank top and shorts and flip flops, and they were like,
There's a
"You
dress
can't wear
code.
that." I'm like,
There's a dress code. There's
What
the whole
is
thing with
this?
golf. Hockey is incredibly difficult because you're skating on ice.
Well,
You're
that's-
going like 60 miles an hour, trying to handle this little tiny puck, shoot it.
not that
It is-
small, but-
well, it's small, and you have this small goal behind this big guy with lots
yeah,
of
the
pads.
goalie to goal ratio.
Oh, yeah.
You compare to like soccer.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's way harder to get it in.
The hardest sport in the world is basketball.
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 Literally, I think it probably is
Literally,
easiest. I would
nope.
even put it easier than baseball, which is saying a lot.
Oh my gosh.
Because baseball is incredibly easy.
Yeah, you should just
Throw it to one guy who's standing there holding it for you,
Yep.
ready.
Yep.
He's all right. Just throw it
That's
right to my
all you
glove.
have to
dude.
do.
Just throw it right there.
That's all you have to do. You try to hit a curveball.
you hit it.
Basketball's the hardest.
Well, I
because you have
saw
to
a
play
movie.
offense and defense all within a span of like 10 seconds, running up and down the court. You're trying to shoot this ball that is just barely smaller than the hoop itself.
Here's the thing: any sport,
over a guy that's like 6'7".
any sport where they've made a movie
7'6".
where a child dominates professionals, that's an easy sport. So think about like Mike. What was his name? Little Bow Wow. He became a legend, and he beat everybody. I think Kevin Garnett was in that movie.
That movie was nonfiction. It was based on
Great
true
movie.
events.
The Rookie?
Space Jam.
No, not The Rookie.
The
What was
aliens
the one,
stole the talent of the NBA players.
All right. What was the one about baseball with the kids who pitched? He got the arm and he could throw.
Rookie of the Year.
Okay, see, you don't have that movie about golf because it's so unrealistic. They couldn't even make it in Hollywood.
Do you want to know why?
Golf is the hardest sport. I'm telling you, I've tried to hit the ball. I cannot even first make contact with the ball.
That's a
if
good
I
point.
do make contact with the ball, it does not go. It doesn't.
It goes the wrong way.
I've seen, and I'm playing
Yep.
with guys who they're like golf all the
They're
time.
professionals.
They can't even hit
Yeah.
it straight. It's the hardest sport.
It's tough. I'll give you that. It's tough. It's not the hardest. Basketball's the hardest. Hockey is a close second.
You think basketball is harder than?
I think basketball is incredibly hard.
It's just a ball and a hoop.
No,
I mean,
that's all it is. You should ask those guys that did March Madness what easy
guys?
it is. All of them. The guys that had, Florida had 2 7-footers
it's still
on their team.
that's easy.
And that's okay. All right.
I think when you're under 6 foot
Yeah.
and playing basketball, there's definitely some issues
So
there.
you're just saying the key to basketball is just be taller.
Absolutely. It's pure genetic luck. Purely genetic.
There's probably some truth to that.
In fact, that could be another hot take for me. I think almost all sports success comes down to genetics.
That's probably true.
I think practice.
Yeah.
Practice?
Who was that?
That was AI.
That was the
Not ChatGPT, but Allen
Colts head
Iverson.
coach.
The answer.
What was his name?
Oh, you're talking about Tony Dungy,
No, he was a practice.
Tony
You're talking
Dungy's
about
a
practice.
Christian speaker.
No, he was the white coach.
Practice?
Yeah, talking about practice. I don't know.
Anyway.
All right.
So you disagree.
So I disagree. All right. This one kind of piggybacks off of what you just said.
Okay.
And I asked ChatGPT to run some numbers for me, so I know that they're accurate.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be one that I was texting you about this, and I said you might actually walk out of the room when I say this.
If it has to do with baseball?
It does not have to do with
Okay,
baseball.
good.
But I'm going to tell you something. The other Sunday, whenever that was, I was watching the Masters.
That was last
The
week.
Masters turn. That was last week. And I had a revelation. I was sucked in.
Since when do you watch golf?
I almost never, but people were tweeting about it. And so
that
I
got you
tuned
in.
in and I was sucked into what was going on. And I came away.
You were impressed, right?
I was so impressed.
See?
I was so impressed. Golf is a very difficult sport. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And those guys are so incredibly talented. But the drama and everything that was unfolding, when you learn the backstory of what was going on, I could not turn it off. I'd never watched golf before in my life. The Masters tournament is better than the Super Bowl.
Oh, boy. Is you just saying that because it's in Georgia?
No, it has nothing to do with Georgia. I think
You're
I
a
guess
Georgia
it's beautiful.
boy.
I'm a Georgia boy. The Masters, and I asked ChatGPT to run some numbers for me. When you're talking about margin of victory between the Masters tournament and the Super Bowl, the Masters is a more competitive event than the Super Bowl.
The Masters is a Super Bowl event for people who wear Brooks Brothers. Okay. For people who have a lot of money.
That's true. Yes.
For the wealthy.
That's
Okay.
true.
That's my biggest thing is they're really discriminatory towards people like me.
People who can't afford it. Have you seen the menu at the Masters?
I actually saw that on
Like
social
an egg
media.
salad sandwich is like $1.50
And they were, yes. You know why?
because it's like $15,000
Because it costs so much to go.
and you're paying lodging out the wazoo. I would rather watch the Masters than the Super Bowl.
What?
Yes, infinitely more. I'm telling you, something spiritual happened to me when I was watching the Masters the other week, last Sunday, whenever that was, where I could not turn it off, and I learned about Rory McIlroy.
Was this the last round, though?
This was the final day. It was now you don't call it the back nine. I learned that that's apparently bad luck. It's the second nine of the Masters. So it was the fourth quarter of the Masters tournament.
Now you're talking
this
to me.
guy who call it the Buffalo Bills, right?
Okay.
He had a chance to go into an elite category multiple times. He's choked it away, and he was slowly. choking away his lead, right? But even like the Bills of the 90s,
Okay.
right? 4 Super Bowls in a row, lost all 4. And you could just kind of feel the tension, and he chokes the last putt on the 18.
What was like the play in the football language? Was it like when Bill Belichick, or I mean,
it's like what was
Carroll.
it? Seahawks trying to pass. You got
Pass
Marshawn
on the
Lynch
1 yard line?
choking it away, and then it goes into sudden death. It goes into overtime.
Okay.
Right, and then
NFL or college rules?
sudden death. So probably NFL.
NFL. Okay.
Probably
Got
NFL.
It. Got it.
And he clutches it. And he clutches it. And he in
a good way.
He wins the Grand Slam. So he wins all 4 major.
At one time.
I don't know what that means. But it just something magical happened to me in that moment where I said, man, this is infinitely more interesting. And recency bias will tell you, Chiefs got stomped in the Super Bowl. That was infinite. That was so uninteresting to watch. I had to bring it up.
It was not an enjoyable night. I was at a Super Bowl party,
but think about Super Bowl as a
Not a fun
recent
party.
memory.
food was good.
There's a lot of commercials. There's a lot of stopping to play. Halftime performances are generally pretty bad.
I'm not even allowed to watch those.
It just drags on. The Masters, man, they were doing these amazing. The Masters is just better than Super Bowl.
Well, I feel like, in some ways I can't argue because I've never watched it.
You have to watch it.
Are there commercial breaks?
Yeah, I mean there are. You kind of get to track with different golfers. And
What about when the guys take like a break, get a hot dog and a Gatorade?
I don't think they do
use the
that mid
bathroom?
round. They might. They don't show that.
What
But
about when they're
There's different
walking?
pairs kind of going on, so you kind of cut to the
switch
action.
back
It's
and
just
forth.
constant action, but you're really tracking. Man, everyone's watching Rory. It was so much fun.
Rory,
Better
that's the
than
guy.
Super Bowl. Rory McIlroy.
That was the guy that
English
got
dude.
arrested that one time
No, that was
trying to
someone
run from the
else.
cops.
That was someone else. That got thrown out of court or something.
Oh, is
they
that
released
fake?
The body. No, they released the body cam footage. It was super interesting. You have to read up on it. I'm sticking with it. Masters better than Super Bowl.
Tiger's cousin, right? Right.
How many cousins does Tiger
I
have?
don't know.
All right, what's your next hot take?
That's
You didn't
that's
walk out of the room. You love the Super Bowl.
I love the Super Bowl. It's an American pastime.
I just can't believe
it's
that-
one of the highlights.
I thought that was going to.
it
fill
brings
you with
people
rage.
together.
Yeah.
To be honest, no, I'm so used to the ridiculous things you say at this point that nothing. It just doesn't make me as
fair
mad
enough.
anymore as it did
That's
back
fair
on our
enough.
very first podcast when we did food.
That's a good point.
But
We need to try that again.
all right,
All right, I'm ready.
baseball would be more fun if it had a single ounce of fun. It is the least fun. All right,
That might have been the best way you could have put that. That was so
sports are supposed to be fun.
That's true.
When
Sports
is the
are
last
supposed to be
time
fun.
you saw a baseball player smile? I go
They
to these
smile all the
games.
time.
Listen, I go to these games, man.
Which games?
My family loves.
You go to Monarchs or Royals games?
No, this is Little League here in Olathe.
Okay.
And
And the kids aren't smiling?
I'm kidding.
That's a parent problem right there.
It's a culture problem
Yeah,
because
sure.
it trickles down.
Yeah.
My son's impersonating Bobby Witt.
Okay.
He looks like he just ate a sour grape. Looks like he's mad. I go to the Royals games.
Yeah.
These guys are so serious. They don't smile.
It's a competitive
They
game.
walk
There's a
around,
lot going on.
but they're not mad at each other.
It's a game of concentration and mental dexterity.
What it took to make baseball fun
Mm-hmm.
is it had to have a team come along like the Savannah Bananas
That's a good point.
just to make baseball interesting, worth watching.
That
When you have more
is a good
people
point.
paying to see a
Yep.
joke team
Yep. That
Literally,
aren't playing real baseball.
they're not playing real
They're
baseball
playing banana ball.
more than the New York Yankees.
They sold out NFL stadiums.
Are you serious?
The Bananas.
I was just saying stuff.
I think that's true. I think I think that's true. That brings me to something that I kind of want to add. I think that you're wrong. I think that baseball is fun. I love baseball. You know that. I think that baseball was more fun when we let players juice. Right? Think back to Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Right? They were
man.
competing for 62 home runs. Was that more fun than any year we've ever had? We put a ban on PEDs, and all of a sudden baseball's boring. No home runs. Nothing's ever fun. You know what would be even more fun is if we let tennis players do steroids. sports in general.
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Would just be better if we let everyone.
I don't even know what to say more. Here's the thing, though. The baseball thing is clearly there's a lot of people doing it and getting away with it. Technology is made it such where.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think there was a whole generation that got dinged and is actually still held.
Sure.
Like Barry Bonds.
Yep.
Still held responsible when they're probably not doing anything different than current players are doing. They're just.
The players are still getting busted.
They're getting away with it. They're getting busted, but it's become such a part of the game. It does make you wonder if they get to a
pendulum
point.
has swung in the other direction where we're giving out 80-game bans for steroids as opposed to, man, let's hit the ball 600 feet.
Do you think fans would get more enjoyment out of the long home runs, the battles?
I think so.
At the expense of players dying.
Do they die because of steroids?
It's bad for you.
Oh, okay.
I heard about that.
You know, that's something I hadn't considered because I was worried about my enjoyment. That's something I have to take into account. But I think that baseball is fun. It could be more fun.
It could be fun with anything remotely fun.
So you'd like to see the Royals
I'd like to see
pitch on stilts and unicycles.
No, here's what I'd like to see. When a guy hits a home run, I want to see him break his bat. I want to see him do a dance.
Cartwheel around the
I want to
bases.
see him, taunt the other team a little bit. I'd like to see some aggression.
They do that a little bit.
Some excitement.
It's subtle. It's subtle.
Let them storm the mound or charge the mound. I don't want anybody.
I can respect that.
I'm a peacemaker.
Yeah.
But hockey's found a way to do it without any serious injuries. Baseball, they won't even let you slide into home plate.
Yeah.
Which I heard a kid at T-ball recently say fourth base.
They call it fourth base.
That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It's home plate.
First, second, third, fourth base.
Yeah, I guess so.
They won't even let you slide in now if you touch the catcher. You're banned.
I'd like to see you as the commissioner of baseball of MLB, just to kind of see the changes.
It would be a mixture
make
of
baseball fun.
Professional wrestling,
Triple H,
and it would be with baseball.
The Wolf Pack or whatever those guys were.
Yes,
that would be fun.
I would expand the Savannah Bananas. That guy's a genius who started that. I would take that. I would expand it to its own league.
Yep. They have their own league.
They do.
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't it like just two teams or?
Probably.
All right. What do you got next?
This is the one that I want to have a pointed discussion with you about. This is the whole point of the podcast. And I wanted to put you on blast to all of our listeners.
To the 5 people
To the 5 people that listen. Because
there's more people that listen. They just don't care.
No, they're going to care.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna air it out, and I'm gonna let the community be the judge and jury of how they treat you. You and I have been texting. We texted specifically during March Madness, and we share a love for a sports team, the Alabama Crimson Tide, right? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, man.
We love Alabama.
Love them.
But in texting you during March Madness, I found out that you were cheering for Auburn and Tennessee, 2 rivals of our beloved Crimson Tide, because you felt like the good of the conference outweighed the good of Alabama. That it's better for Alabama when Auburn and Tennessee do well. Those were your words.
That's better. The second way you said it was better.
Well, the first way made you sound worse, so that's how I wanted to say it. And I want to say to you that if you're cheering for a rival team or you're cheering for a team that's in your conference, you are not a fan of the team. So you're not a fan of Alabama when you cheer for Auburn and Alabama for Auburn
only during
that
game.
That Bear Bryant would be rolling in his grave if he found out what you were doing.
Here's the thing. I come from the South, just as
Here's
you
my
do.
hot take.
All right.
You're not an Alabama fan when you cheer for those teams. And, and it hurts me to say that.
You took that too far the way you said it.
It's true. So defend yourself.
I come from the South like you.
Yes.
In the South, SEC's a big deal.
Not anymore.
It's a culture of greatness, dominance, and there's a lot of hatred towards the SEC because of their dominance.
So you're saying we need to stick together because there's a lot of outside.
When
hatred
we play
towards
outside of conference, we should cheer for our conference.
Nope.
When we play each other,
Never.
you pick. But when we're playing out of conference, I don't want to see Ohio State win any more national championships. I don't want to see Michigan.
That's fair.
I don't want to see Duke and North Carolina.
That's fair. But I don't want to see Auburn. Listen, I would go so far as to say I would trade a national championship from Alabama for 100 years of mediocrity for Auburn.
Mediocrity, barely getting by.
Barely getting by 500 seasons. I hate Auburn maybe more than I love Alabama.
I get it. And you should, because you're a true Bama fan. But they are our cousins. Literally.
Little brother.
I literally have cousins
They are
there.
little brother.
They're right down the road.
They're right down the road.
When we have
And
no chance of winning, and they do,
You got
why should we not support them?
in-state recruits, people in the state of Alabama that are growing up between the two, and they turn into superhuman athletes, and they're saying, all right, I'm down to two choices. I got Auburn and Alabama. And because Micah Hayes is cheering for Bruce Pearl to win a national championship, he's saying, oh, man, I'm going to go to Auburn and not Alabama. And that's on you. That blood is on your hands, and it is all your fault.
Look,
They're
Charles
stacking
Barkley.
up resumes. They're looking at the two. Which one is better? Oh, Auburn has.
And you think
more
I'm going to
Final
have an
Fours.
impact in that?
100%.
Charles
They're going
Barkley.
to listen to this podcast.
Cam Newton, Bo Jackson.
Yes.
Bo Jackson,
Yes.
Kansas City legend. These are great people.
Great people.
I support them. I like them.
No. Charles Barkley, get that guy off my TV.
Great.
Hate him.
One of the best TV commentators
The
ever
worst.
for sports.
The worst.
Who's better?
Literally, Spike Lee.
He's not a TV commentator.
He's not. But here's the deal. I would give up the highest point in sports to watch that Cal College across the state.
I get it.
Flounder.
Like, I totally get it. I grew up. I understand the hatred. I think there's a lot of SEC fans who agree with me.
Can't cheer for that,
I think there's a lot of SEC fans who agree with me. SEC overall.
To put this into context,
the best conference.
You don't see Jayhawks fans cheering for K-State and vice versa. Bill Self isn't there rocking the purple and saying, man,
that
this
would
is
be-
great for the state of Kansas because K-State is doing well. No, man, he wants to
That's a
see
pretty good
them
point.
fall off the cliff.
But his last name is Self.
He is kind of selfish.
So there you go.
He's a great coach. That's what I want to get at. I want everyone else to be the judge and
Just to
jury.
shame me.
Just to shame you. That's
I'd love
the
to hear
whole
people's
reason.
feedback.
I would love to hear
because I
people's
think there's
feedback.
some other SEC fans out there
There's
like
no
me
other SEC fans
who understand.
That's not a real fan.
We got to cheer for our conference.
Can't do it. Never.
These are our people.
I will never. Do you have another hot take? I feel better now. That was therapeutic.
Yeah, I have something more serious though.
Okay.
This is serious.
All right. I'm ready.
And I think there's a direct correlation between the decline of religion. No, this is serious.
This is a sports. We're talking about sports. All right, go ahead.
There's a direct
Finish your
correlation between the decline in religion and the rise in popularity of sports.
thought. Man, that's almost above my head.
Chew on that for a minute.
There's a direct.
I
so
think
you're
there's a
saying
lot of-
as people become better sports fans, they become worse Christians. Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily, no. I just think that a lot of people, for them, sports provides the religious experience that their heart actually craves.
Wow, that is really deep.
To belong to a group, to a community, through thick and thin, we're going to stick by each other.
Be a part of something bigger than themselves.
To worship something that feels transcendent, to be a part of that big stadium and all the people and have that. A lot of people describe that as a spiritual experience.
It is kind of, when you're in that playoff atmosphere, cheering on your team, you're a part of it. It does kind of provide that corporate worship experience. So you think we should abolish sports?
No,
for the
I'm
greater
saying
good?
maybe God has given sports for good.
Oh,
And it actually can bring him glory.
really.
Yeah. Or is it something keeping people?
I don't know, man. I mean, I don't want to.
Look what Tim Tebow did.
I don't. I don't want to put anyone on blast, but I can only speak from my experience in the South. We had people missing church. When I was down in Alabama, we had people missing church for Alabama and Auburn sports.
They didn't even play on Sunday.
They didn't even play on Sunday.
And you're still missing church.
You play a basketball game on Wednesday night. That was back when Alabama was bad at basketball, and I can't help
still
with
skipping.
this event because Alabama was playing Kentucky. That was a real thing that happened to me.
I think
Is it better
sports might be the world's largest religion.
of worshiping an idol?
I didn't say that.
I didn't.
No,
I
it's
said
any religion that's false is worshiping an idol. I think you can definitely get there. I
That is a
think
hot take.
I don't think it's wrong to enjoy sports, but I do think for a lot of people, it goes beyond. It fulfills a need in them for God, the God shaped hole in all of us.
Man, there's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot there.
This could be a whole podcast.
This is our
in
pastor
itself.
talking.
Don't
And
say
your pastor colors are showing right now.
I don't want to get into all that. I'm just saying we should have a podcast about that in itself sometime.
Could we hold church at Arrowhead?
Absolutely. Not.
Literally not. I like
we
that.
couldn't afford it.
That's a good one.
Couldn't afford to rent it out.
Well, you could do it like in the tailgate area.
That's fair.
Derek, get them all mic'd up. We have Aaron.
If revival breaks out in Kansas City, we're going to have to go to Arrowhead. That's the only place.
Could it happen?
It could happen.
It could happen. I like it.
Maybe one day we come back to this. How to enjoy sports without worshiping it and
You
make
wrote
an
a blog
idol
on,
out of it.
You wrote a blog
Don't
on
bring
not
that up.
worshiping football.
People still give me grief for that.
That's because the next year you were worshiping football.
Look, it's a problem, man.
It is, bro. It's an inclination in our heart.
Problem.
I like it.
Is that it?
That is all the hot takes that I had.
Well, hopefully people will tell us some of their hot takes and we get a chance to share.
Catch us in
and
the real
we
world.
need to figure out what our next topic is from, a
Hot
few
Take
years from
Tuesday.
now when we get to do this again.
When Derek lets us do it again.
Derek's not in charge of this anymore.
Aaron
Smith.
Aaron's tired of our antics.
I think he's ready for us to stop.
He's
talking.
ready.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.